Let's see. Got it. And good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you are in this world. We thank you so much for tuning in to Table Talk with Dr. A. I am so excited tonight, and in just a little bit, you will understand why. I have some very special guys online with us who are going to be our guests tonight. But before then, I just want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to thank those of you who have called, who have sent shout outs, text messages, Zoom, everything, any way that you guys could communicate my birthday on March the 2nd. Thank you so very much. Thank you. As some of you know, my husband was actually in the hospital on my birthday, so he did the most romantic and just wonderful thing for me the day before. He had a very acclaimed and well-known chef to come to our home and provided a 6-course meal for us, and it was absolutely marvelous. So I do not want to go another day without publicly saying to him, thank you so much for making that birthday, my birthday, a very special celebration. I love you to the moon and back, more than life itself. Thank you so much for making that a very special day for me.
All right.
So, yeah, so I got all of those out of the way. Hopefully that's gave me some brownie points. So he will. Well, the good thing I love about him is he is just such a giver, and so it makes it very easy for me to give to him because he is such a giver. Okay. So also, thank you guys, those of you who called and checked on my mother, who has been living with me for the last 45 days. It has, it's been very humbling as we, as adult children start the process of having to become the adult, in a sense, to their parent. And although my mother is 79 and most people cannot believe that, she gets around better than most 45-year-olds. And so for her to be immobile for since February the 5th, it has just been very devastating, not only for me, but and my brothers, but also really for her. And so we just want to thank those of you who sent your prayers, who sent your cards, your messages, who called, and just your condolences. Guys, we just really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your concerns. I believe those are the initial announcements that I have, guys. I'm excited. So I just really want to jump into this. And I know that you guys are going to be so excited to make sure, if you have not subscribed to our new YouTube channel, please make sure you do that so that you do not miss another Sunday episode, and you're going to learn about some Thursday episodes that you do not want to miss. So I want to introduce to maybe all of you, but maybe some of you, Mr. Jerry and Mr. John. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a second, but they are the co-hosts of, you will hear me call it APT, but it is the acronym for Adult Play Therapy. Now, guys, that already sounds very intriguing.
You can't forget the uncensored part, though. So APTU.
Uncensored. You are so right. APTU, Adult Play Therapy Uncensored. And that's what I like about it, because you can still be Christians, guys, and still have open communication. And that's what just in the brief conversations that I've had with these guys, they're Christians, they're men of God, they're men of faith. And so nobody else is talking about it. So why shouldn't we? So here we go. Guys, thank you for being on the show tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, for sure.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you. Before we start talking about adult play therapy uncensored, tell me about you. Tell me who you are and what you do when you're not adult playing therapy uncensored. And just kind of a little bit about your background.
I'll let John go ahead and start.
All right, John Carrington.
All right, so you're gonna put all the pressure on me. All right. All right. So I am can you guys hear me fine?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Good. I
sir.
apologize. I'm driving. I had a meeting that just ran over on me. But I actually am the creator of the show. And created the show several years ago. And when I created it, I immediately had the thought process of open forum conversation. I wanted to make sure that we were able to get out here and express the way we felt about things. So before then, what I was doing is I actually am a family business, home health care. That's what I do. I also own an entertainment company. So I've worked with artists here in the DFW area with music, development type stuff. We've been doing some short film stuff too with my son's whatnot. And I just kind of stay busy. I do a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. It's just kind of hard just to define what I do. In my 9 to 5, man, I'm just a workaholic, to be honest with you. So between home healthcare and between entertainment and being a creative, I'm kind of all over the place. And then of course I am rooted in the church. So I'm my pastor's right-hand man. So I kind of make sure that things are going the way they're supposed to be going, as well as I try to make sure that I'm educated in church as well.
Great. Jerry, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Prater. I'm from Dallas, born and raised. I'm a husband, I'm a father. My 9 to 5, I work in the government. I'm a compliance coordinator. That's my day job. My night job is everything else. I'm a student as well. Currently going to UNT Dallas. Active in my HOA, PTA, all pro dads, like everything. So yeah, that's just me, man. When John started this adult play therapy uncensored, and when he reached out to me, and me and him have such a great relationship, I already knew it was going to be something that was going to be not only beneficial to us brothers, but also beneficial to those who are like-minded and even those who might not be, so it was just something that could reach the masses. And it was just, it based off of our everyday conversations. We don't just have regular run-of-the-mill topics and conversations. We actually, kind of, push the line on some of those things, but it's something that's needed. So yeah, I'm
Wow.
Jerry.
And it's just nice to, in social media, we see all of the African-American men just on the other side of the spectrum. We rarely, and that's by design. I mean, they media wants to show and project the negativity with African-American men, with Black men. And so it's just nice to be in the presence of just men, just gentlemen, guys who love God, who love their families, who love their children, and who all pro dad, PTA, I mean, just that kind of stuff, films with their sons, just really taking an active role with their families. And so, so I appreciate you guys. I applaud you just for being the men that God has called you to be. So thank you for nothing other than just that. That
well,
contribution. Yeah.
We
And I know
appreciate
it's not easy. I'm sorry.
I just say we appreciate that.
Well,
Yeah.
I know it's not easy. It's hard.
Okay.
It is, and actually it's very rarely heard, that appreciation for that. So, definitely, that definitely, strikes a chord and hits home.
Well, and I think as women, we don't say it enough. we don't say it enough. And I think, again, that's designed because, you know, the men, you guys are the foundation of the family. And so if we can browbeat you, keep you down, you know, keep you in a place where you are devalued, then the enemy has won. And so so I think us women, that's our job. We have to be better at building up our men, because we know that if we stroke y'all the right way, y'all will run through some fire for us.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I like
And
to also
so,
say this. I don't feel like it's something that, you know, I need a pat on the back for. You know,
Right.
I have my children, I take care of my children. I think that we as men also forget that this is our responsibility. It's our legacy. When we're here on this earth and we are reproducers, you know, and we make these children, our job is to guide these children. You know,
hallelujah.
and when people come at me and they like, man, I can't believe you're doing this, you know, I appreciate it. It looks good on you, this, and the third. And I'm like, man, this is a responsibility of mine. This is something that I don't need
Right.
to have a handshake or a pat on the back. This is something I'm supposed to do. So I'm going
Right.
to do it the best I can.
Right. You don't expect it. It's nice to hear it, but you don't expect it. And that's, you know, and that you're so right. It should go without being said. You brought them in the world. It's your responsibility to take care of them, you know.
And you know what's interesting in that I've read you know, the book The 5 Love Languages, and
I use it in my look, that book is so important. I don't do a counseling session without them reading
it's
that.
It's real though, because
If
you ask most men what their love languages are, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be either, you know, acts of service, or, you know, their receiving one is going to be like words of affirmation. So if you tell a man, hey, you're doing a good job, or hey, you know, I see what you're doing and I really appreciate you, that means the world to us, you know. So
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I try to wake up every morning and be intentional about telling my husband that, because you don't have to. I mean, my grandfather used to say it all. The people don't have to be nice to you, and I get it, that is a man's responsibility, and as a husband, those are certain things that you're supposed to do. That family job, but there are so many who don't do that. I just appreciate when he does do, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so even though you all don't, real men don't need it, but I think we as women just need to do a better job. And not to say that women don't do it. So don't text me and don't call me and say, you know, all that extra. I'm talking to those who don't.
Yeah.
And who are willing to be honest with themselves that they need to do a better job in appreciating the person.
There's some people out there feeling triggered right now.
Already.
But still, in this generation, you got to understand something. There are a lot of women that don't. You know what I'm saying? They expect men to do, and they don't feel like they're supposed to show that love, that admiration, that gratitude. You know, and I think that's my problem when it comes to dating. I'm so used to doing that when I don't receive it, it's natural and normal to me. You know, and it's like we as men, we shouldn't be so programmed to not expect love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're supposed to support, we're supposed to love, we're supposed to take care of our home and our woman, but we also supposed to remember that we have feelings too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we should expect baby, you're doing a great job every now and again. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's something that if I find a woman to tell me something like that, I probably lose my mind.
Well, there's one out there. You just wait. She's coming.
Definitely. It sure is, coming.
But I think it goes back to you know, and something that you just said. Women nowadays, there are many women, because of we treat people the way that we want to be treated is really what we say. Treat people the way you want to be treated. But there are so many people who don't love themselves. It's hard for them to give love. It's hard for them to give what they don't have, what they don't even have. And if I don't love myself, how am I even supposed to love somebody else or love you?
Can't. You cannot. You cannot. And especially if you haven't seen an example of reciprocity in a relationship. Absolutely. Then what?
Right.
You know, you don't know how to give back. You don't know how to. Most people, well, you know, from my experience, most of the women out there don't even know how to receive the right way, you know.
Nope.
But yeah, that's true.
They get a good man and they sabotage it.
Yeah,
because they don't
very
know,
true.
they don't
Very
really
true.
know how to, you know, it's too good to be true to have a
Exactly.
man who really is, you not the jump off chick. You not the
Exactly.
side chick. So they don't know how to accept. If you send them flowers, oh, they must be hiding something. You know, I mean, so you got to deal with
Exactly.
all of that, and that's just because of the hurt that they're not willing to address.
Right.
But
Right.
just look at it like this too. What does love look like to women these days? You know, when you say love yourself, what does that look like? See, a lot of people don't understand what loving yourself is. See, these days, the time you look at Instagram, you look at Facebook, and loving yourself is a woman who's half naked, you know what I'm saying, in a bathing suit or in a
Come on.
two-piece or from lingerie, and she'll tell you, yo, I love myself. That's the reason why I do this. I do this because I feel good. I look good. But in reality, you know, if that is that really love? Because when you find a man, what does he expect now? Now that's how he found you. So now he's gonna love you
Yes.
in his perception, in his manner of love. So when you get a real man who wants to dress you up the right way, yeah, you don't know what that means. You know, you're trying to cover me up. You trying to, you know, what are you doing? I'm trying to love
You
you
must
because I'm
not
trying
love
to
me.
You trying to dim my light.
Preserve what you got. Yeah, you trying to dim my light, right?
Right?
Yeah.
You know, no self-respect. No self-respect, I guess, is love for yourself these days.
Wow.
Man.
Wow. And that's a really good conversation to have. I was just Boyce Watkins. I don't know if you all ever listened to him. And so his topic today was on Beyonce and the advertisement that she has for Adidas. And I don't know if you guys have seen that advertisement just yet, but you know, that's what we see. And so that's our perception of what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to do, and what men like. All men don't like that. All men don't want their wives, their women, their girlfriends, their significant others to be seen in that light by every man.
That's true. And that's very wise that you separated the two, because at first you said all men don't like that. And then you said all men don't like their wives to be like, well, all men do like certain things, but all men don't want their wives to be that certain thing all the time.
True.
You know, because, you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, dudes do want their wives to have a little, you know, a little hoe in them. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's
just a
little bit. You know, it's the saying you can't turn into a housewife, but sometimes the housewife need to show, you know, hey, I can be, you know, for you, I can be that, you know.
Right.
So it's a huge separation, and it's not for the masses. So we definitely don't want you putting it out there for everybody to see, because that then leads people to believe that it's attainable, you know, and if it's mine and it's not.
Wow. And that's a mouthful, because I'm hearing more and more in my counseling sessions, and sometimes, so I have a degree in biblical counseling. And so initially when I started counseling, I was getting a lot of secular individuals, and my thought was, I'm having a hard time because all I know the answers to give you are biblically based. Everybody doesn't want to hear that. And so I had to, you know, and if I have a contract with courts and things like that, I can't give them biblical advice. So, but as I'm talking to couples, I'm hearing more and more about open relationships and how they, you know, how they step outside of the relationship, and it's a mutual agreement that we're going to, you know, we're going to have 3 or 4 people in the bed at the same time, and that kind of stuff. And so generally that ends up in divorce. I you know, very few cases have I seen that, you know, where the woman is a little bit more forgiving when it happens. The man can't get it out of his head that this other guy is sleeping with my wife in the same bed with me.
Yeah.
That doesn't work very well for too long.
Going overtime.
Yeah. And so when we do that, when we open ourselves to not being that modest individual that our husbands desire, yeah, if you got something else going on between the two of you that makes the two of you happy, and it's an agreement, the two of you, not the 3 or 4 of you together, that's on you. That's between you and your God, and that's hey, nobody knows about that. So that's that little hoism in them.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of that.
Hey, that's cool. That's y'all.
Well, see,
But
Jerry and I, we did a show. You know, one of our show's topics for adult play therapy was, does the ring matter still?
Mm-hmm.
And I know he remembers that. And this was definitely one of the biggest topics that we discussed, was the fact that marriage isn't as sacred as it used to be anymore. So you of course get that. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of these new children today that don't believe in getting married. You know, they believe in that type of thing, the open marriage, you know. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with pain. Some has to do with routine and some of the things that they've learned or watched their parents do. So it's like, it's really hard to really judge them on, you know, how they feel, when in reality, I'm sitting there saying to myself, wow, we as adults haven't really set a good example for them in the first place. So absolutely, I'd be scared too and be like, hey, let's just have an open situation, because at the end of the day, I expect you to fail me. And that's just what it sounds like to me. You know, I expect you to fail me. But in having an open relationship, we're able to have fun. I'm able to have fun, and we don't have to worry about the full commitment that you know, that goes along with us being married.
Wow. Well, and then it goes back to the role of the father. There are hurts, and I expect you to fail me just like my daddy failed me. He didn't come through for me. And so again, there's another attempt at to kill the family by taking out the dad. And so when the dad is, you know, doing out whatever, and he's not there for his baby girl, and I get it, men are so important for boys, but they are equally, if not more important for their girls, because that's the first man that a girl loves.
Right.
And so she's basing every relationship off of that daddy, and that daddy wound now perpetuates till she's 40, 50, 60 years old, you know. And so these cyclical relationships that she's in continues on because of that thing that happened when she was 6 years old or 7 years old or 10 or 13 when her dad didn't show up.
Man, that's real.
I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad. You know, I know my boy Jerry, he has boys. I have boys and girls. And it's very important that I spend a whole lot of time with them, that I talk to them, that I teach them, and I allow them to understand. You and I, we eating. You know, I open the doors for them. I say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I just like said, little queen. The reason is because this is you. You expect
Jerry, you're cutting. John, you are cutting out really, really bad. We can't hear you. Are you there?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I'm in. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Can you hear me now?
That's good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I was just saying, you know, being a girl dad, I'm always talking to them about, you know, the way that a man is supposed to treat them. We go on dates together. I take my girls out, and I'm always yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to them, and I expect them to say yes, sir, no, sir in return. And I'm always letting them know that that's the type of respect you should expect from your date when you have one.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, like John said, I got boys, so you know, my methods are always, you know, how do they view me treating their mom, you know, and my mom, you know. So I always I try to go over and beyond and showing them, you know, what a gentleman is and how a woman responds to a gentleman in a loving way, you know. So they are always kind of staring at us, love on each other, you know, we kiss and hug, and you know, they catch me rubbing mama feet, cooking for mama, bringing her, you know, her food and stuff like that. So, you know, just listening to mom, you know, it goes a long way, because even as kids, they recognize, you know, this is different. This is
Right.
something special. They have they really love each other. This is what love looks like.
Right. Right. So now I'm going on another tangent here because you just made me think of something that is now a TikTok challenge that we have seen at school that I have had to address. So one of the TikTok challenges is for kids to out loud in the classroom make groaning and moaning sexual sounds and they get extra bonus points if they scream out, come on, Big Daddy. Have y'all heard that? Did y'all know that?
Nah, but I'm not surprised, man. These kids these days.
I just found that out this week.
My daughter's complained about that in her classroom several times. And I told her, I said, you just kind of got to ignore them. I also monitor all their social media stuff. See, I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. My 13-year-old, she's in junior high. So, yeah, yes. She's heard some of that. And she complains about it to her father. And I'm always like, baby girl, you got to understand something. Certain things aren't meant for you. See, I don't expose my kids to certain television shows. Yes. They're not allowed to watch certain things. So Absolutely. They're not used to certain things, you know. And then having them in an urban based school, because I kind of like, they've been in private school for so long. So I try to put them in a place where there's a little bit more culture so they understand, you know, black and white, you know, so instead of just all white or Asian. And right. I just let them know, hey, those kids just act up. So just don't be just like them. Don't be followers. Just understand it's out there, baby, and just do different.
So communicating with them is so very important because they're seeing both now. They're hearing that from the TikTok. And even if they don't hear from the TikTok, they're hearing it from the kids in their classroom. And then they see mom and dad in a healthy situation. And now they've got conflicting views. They don't know, you know, they don't know what's healthy, what's not, what's, you know, so where, at what point, and I'm glad to hear you say, John, that you monitor everything that they do, because literally I have kindergartners and first graders come to school with Apple Watches and iPhones. And so, and I have second graders with TikTok and Facebook accounts. And so when you see very few parents like yourselves who monitor that, I mean, it gives me some hope that maybe there are parents out there who's really understanding the magnitude of the damage that this can cause. Because then again, these hurts, that kids are traumatized just hearing and seeing this, and even being in a position where everybody else, peer pressure is very real nowadays. I mean, it's different than when we were in school. So different.
Yeah. So understand, I always tell people, I let people know all the time, when you're parenting, you have to just come to the realization that you're only 25% of your kids learning. You know, we're only 25% of our kids learning. And I know you're like, no, John, my kids with me all the time. You know, we got mom and daddy. Okay, well, you got to look at it like this. You're with your kids after you get off work and after they get out of school. The first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is what? Drop your kids off. You drop them off at school, and they're at school from 8 in the morning till about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Then you get home to them about 5 and 6, and then you cook them and get them situated, or whatever the case may be. How much time do you have to talk to them between that time and the time they go to bed? But see, in between the time that they're away from you, they're around all different types of kids, personalities, behaviors, and everything. Yes. That's why it's so hard to raise a child when they're babies. You know, I've been there with my kids from day one. When they're babies, it's so hard to raise them because you can teach them how to behave. But once they get at school and they see the other kid, little Timmy and them, throw a tantrum and jump on the floor and beat his little hands or her little hands, kick and scream. Then when they come home, they try to test you because they saw that at school and they saw it work. They know it doesn't work at home, but still, they're going to try it anyway because they did it and it worked for them. So the influences is always constant when it comes to us being a parent and us raising our kids. So yeah, I'm a nosy parent. You know, I bought you this device, man. I bought it for you because you were doing good in school. Well, now that I bought you the device, I'm all up in it. I want to know what you doing, what you looking at. I got parent guards on it. You can't download an app without me looking to see what app you downloading. And then I'm gonna ask you why you need this for. So
Yep.
I'm that type.
Good. We
Wow.
need more of those types. We need more of those types. It is just it's interesting, boy, I tell you. So now, how did you guys meet? I'm interested to know that, because you all seem like y'all just really vibe. Y'all just, woo.
Yeah, we met at church. What'd you say, John, about 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, man. And I don't know. It was just spirits. When we first met, we had a couple conversations. I really looked at John like an older brother. I still do, like an older brother, because he's a little bit older than I am. But, he always piqued my interest, you know what I'm saying, as a brother. And not many people do that for me. The things he was saying, the way he carried himself, and we just kind of hit it off, like almost immediately, and we haven't turned back since. What would you say, John?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Everything you said is correct. I mean, we met, we got along. Man, I was at his when he got married the first time. I think I was one of the guys like, hey man, you sure you want to do this? Like, I've always gravitated towards Jerry, because when I say a guy with a good personality, a strong background, I love his mother, sisters, his family.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think we lost him. But yeah, like you said, we just always kind of hit it out. It's from the moment we met, and we haven't turned back since. It's for guys, I don't think it's that that intricate to where it's like we had to go to the spa and sit and talk and get to know each other. And we were in
Wait a
the
minute,
same.
wait a minute, wait a minute. Is that shot against us women? Wait a minute, hold on.
Nah. But it was quite that simple though. We just kind of hit it off immediately. He's my youngest son's godfather.
I got kicked out, guys. I apologize for some this signal out here is crazy. But like I said, Jerry's a great guy. And we just, man, we've been brothers ever since. And y'all can see me now. So
Yeah.
Yes, much better. There you go. We thought we lost you again.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. It's just a signal out here. But yeah, welcome.
So you guys met about 15 years ago.
Yes.
And John had this idea of adult play therapy uncensored. So how long has that been up and running?
Ooh, long time. It's been about what, 6 years?
6 or 7 years. 6 or 7 years. Yeah, we were on a little bit of a hiatus for a little while, but yeah, about 6 or 7 years ago, it was his brainchild. He brought it to the forefront. Said this is what he want to do. He not regular run of the mill conversation, not regular topics. We're gonna get outside the box a little bit, color outside the lines, and that's what we've been doing. And especially since it's been revamped. We've been all outside them lines. You know what I'm saying? And we've got quite a few people who like what we talk about, like what we do, support us, and yeah, man, that's his brainchild, man. It wouldn't be if it wasn't for that brother right there.
Wow, man.
And we try to tell the truth. It's all of the truth. At the end of the day, people are so scared to voice their opinion. Mm-hmm. But we try to voice it in a healthy manner. We want people to understand this is really how we feel. We talk about police brutality. It's like at the end of the day, police brutality is something that really has to be addressed. I mean, this is how we feel. Quit biting your tongue on the subject. Go in there and look at it. Parenting, something that needs to be talked about. Quit taking up for that bad child of yours when you're not raising them. Quit allowing other people to raise your kids for you. You know what I'm saying? Step into what you're supposed to do. I mean, there's points that need to be talked about, and we want to make sure that we talk about them the right way in a healthy way, so that people understand this is how people really feel.
Yeah,
right,
very much so. I mean, from
topics, we have our sex topics too. We have our sex topics. I mean, hey, we like.
Does the body count matter?
Yeah, does the body count matter? And women, do we matter? Women, men like things too. Don't get us wrong. we are sexual creatures, and you guys are emotional creatures. You got to meet us in the middle.
Yeah.
You know,
what was it? What do men want for Valentine's Day?
Yeah. So we know what we got.
What does a man want for Valentine's Day? Y'all help me on that.
Hey, you got to tune in on that one. But now,
oh man,
we want our attention. You know, and when it comes to men like a lot of sexual attention. Not only that, but men like a little bit of quiet and privacy too. Sometimes we just want a moment of peace.
Peace.
At home.
Peace.
We don't always have to be away from home, but a moment of peace at home.
I agree.
And we come into the house and you don't hit us at the front door with something, we can appreciate that. Give us a couple of minutes to process the fact that we just made it home. You know, you'll see a difference in your husband if when he walks in the house, if you give him a moment to walk in.
Have you already read my book?
Well, you know, hey,
it hasn't come in yet. It's coming in tomorrow.
Because that's exactly what I say in the book.
But it's
exactly what I say in the book.
Well, you know exactly what you're talking about. We need time to process. You know, we know that the kids got on your nerves. We already know that you've gone through a whole day full of things and you already have it layered out. You are ready to unwrap that package on us. But we, not being as vocal as you guys are, we need to come in and we want to say, once we do that,
a little bit.
Yeah. Once we do that, once we take our shoes off, then you can, come in and say, babe, you doing all right? Because I got a lot to tell you. Okay, give me 5 minutes and then I'm all yours. And trust me, we're there for you.
Different reaction. And it's no different than what us mothers do with our kids. But girl, let me put my purse down and, take my shoes off. We do it with our children. So why wouldn't we expect the head of our households to need that thing? And I think that's just, I think that's we have to pray for a spirit of discernment, women.
Wow. So
that we know and we can discern when and when not to bring up those conversations to him. Because if we can feel his temperament and we know that he's had a hard day, a bad day, a challenging day, maybe we don't even not need to talk about that today at all, period. Wow. Maybe that's a weekend conversation or maybe that's some pillow talk conversation that we just need to wait until, we're totally relaxed and just kind of, and so some of that is just, we need to be better. There's just so many areas that I think we as women take for granted. And that's one of those things. This guy has the whole weight of the world, definitely this household and this family on his shoulders. And the moment he come in the door, you griping about something that happened at your boss and your job. And so that's exactly why I'm creating the book, Creating the Environment Worth Coming Home To. Keeping up the castle.
Wow.
We got to learn to keep the castle.
I got to pre-order that one, man.
But remember something. We are teammates. We are partners. Okay. I don't sit ahead above you. We sit together. Although I am the man and God appointed me to be leader, we are still together. We are still teammates.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, you have to realize sometimes that star player needs to take a seat on the bench. And sometimes you got to stay in there a couple of minutes. You know what I'm saying? A couple of minutes extra. You just have to remember that, you wouldn't be a Kobe without a Shaq or a Shaq without a Kobe.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be Jordan without Pippen. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to remember that as partners, our job is to look out for each other.
And it's not 50-50 all the time.
Yeah.
It's not 50-50. Sometimes it's 90-10.
90-10, yeah.
Baby, the kid, hey, I know you've had a rough day. Let me take the kids to the park for a minute and just kind of give you some quiet time. Let me, we have to be more discerning to each other. To know when and when not to do that. And again, I think we take things for granted, and especially the younger generation, everything is handed to us, and the first argument we want a divorce, and and we just
instantaneous. And what's I'm sorry, cut you off. Go ahead. Nah, what I was saying about us guys, when we come home, because we already don't have that complicated of an emotional vocabulary. So when when we walk into something that's supposed to be our safe haven, our peace, and that's turbulent as well, it might, so it might go somewhere else. So we can't necessarily express, look, it's not that I don't want to talk to you right now. It's just, give me time to decompress. Let me ease into this thing. It might come across as, oh, he's frustrated, or he mad, or he don't want to talk. He whatever. But yeah, just understand that we don't have as complicated of an emotional vocabulary as women do. So,
Right.
Take that into account as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's real deep. That's real deep, bro. Because at the end of the day, don't think we don't love our women.
Right.
I think that's also something that, we have to always express. I always try to tell women, don't think we don't love you. We love you. Trust and believe we love you. The only thing is, we're not you. and half the time, we really don't understand you. And we know you don't get us, but we can work things out. We can work it out. We can figure it out, but we have to learn to be patient with each other. Mm-hmm. If we can be patient with each other, trust me, we can conquer the world. There's nothing out there that can be put in front of us that we can't accomplish or get through together,
And in connection with the patients, we have to communicate. People don't get divorced because of money, because of sex, they don't get divorced. They get divorced because they can't communicate about those things. And so, and you men are not big communicators. So we have to learn to communicate the way they communicate. We talked about the 5 love languages. Most of the time, people are going to love you like they want to be loved, not the way you want to be loved.
Very true.
And so we have to learn to communicate, and that comes with discernment, knowing when to address situations, when the best time. If I say this, I already know this is gonna make him mad, so let me not say. So we've got to learn that, and that comes with time, with really learning each other and knowing and understanding from the very beginning. Even in the dating process, we got to ask more questions so that we know how those individuals will feel in certain situations and what they think about certain situations, and what things are going to make them angry and what things tick us off.
Triggers.
We don't ask enough questions.
Man, when I tell you, me and my wife, when we got together, we grilled each other so hard.
Okay, but I heard John say that you had been married before, though.
Yes. I was married before.
That's right.
Yeah, this time around, oh man, I had to make sure for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but being a divorcee, you go into the next situation, put your guards up, of course, but
eyes wide open.
But you can see clearly, because it ain't about the fuzzy feelings and the rose-colored. Nah, I need more than that, But and also you kind of, after the divorce, you go through a period of, getting back to you and understanding your worth, kind of wiping away, what you built, the person you built, and kind of, getting back to the foundation of who you were, back to loving yourself and all that kind of stuff. So the next situation you get into, it's like, I
like to say, you don't fall in love this time, you walk into it.
Oh man. Man, I need to.
Yeah, you don't fall in love this time. I was a divorcee. John, I shared with Jerry, my husband and I just got married in July. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I've been divorced for about 30 years.
Wow.
So I just decided, hey, just like Jerry said, it's just me and God. I'm cool. If I love to be married, but if I don't, I'm good. I'm good. Got this going on. So I am so good. My husband and I used to work together, and we never saw each other as a potential mate. He was married. I was not. I had all of my stuff. I have a nonprofit, got the book, got all this other stuff going on. So I never really even looked at, it really kind of getting back into a relationship. And after his wife passed, we just as friends, as colleagues, just kind of started casually talking and, going out with the group and just kind of that kind of thing. And we just found out that we had some common interests outside of school. And so then just kind of, but I tell you what, when you really and truly allow God to heal you from those things and I had that list. I had
Oh
that list,
man.
all of the things. And it does put it puts you in a whole different perspective, a whole different mindset of what you're not going to put up with, what you're
It
not willing
does.
to, because you value yourself too much. So now you know the signs, you know what to look for. You didn't
Mhm.
at first. So
Nah,
that, so experience is truly the best teacher.
it
Yeah,
is.
I haven't been married, but I always tell people, I said, all my friends have been married twice, and I haven't been married once yet. And it sucks, guys. It sucks because at the end of the day, I date with an intention, but then I've had my fun too. Don't get me wrong. I've had a lot of fun, being single when I was younger. Right now, it's like I'm so focused on just being a parent. But when I do date someone, I try to date with the intent. And it's just
Right.
bad because it's like, you go in there, you start looking for a ring, you're like, this is the one. And then boom, the floor, you know what I'm saying? They snatch the
90
rug from up under your
days.
feet, And I'm like, wow, why didn't I see this? It's like red flag after red flag, and it comes later in life than it does at the beginning. I like to tell people women wear their masks a lot longer than a man. And it sucks for me because I feel in my heart, I'm a good guy. We all have our hangups, but at the end of the day, I'm going to nurture you. I'm going to look out for you. I feel like relationships should be more in tune with when you take the time with your partner, you take the time to want to be there for your partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm selfless is what I like to say. And it just has not worked out for me.
You know what? I had a secretary years ago, and she was Muslim, and they believe no matter how old you are, you have what's called an imad. And these are usually a couple, usually a husband and wife, who really kind of looks out for you. And so before they were to date, they had to bring this person to their imad. And that couple questioned that person and drilled that person and just really kind of built a relationship with that individual, just in case I miss something. I've got another set of eyes to pick up on that. And that's kind of what I have done since meeting her. And I brought a couple of people in front of my imads, and they have outright said, it was usually Mama Betty who would say, I ain't feeling him. No, he's red flags. And I trust them so much that I would immediately cut it off with that person. And then later found out, okay, this is what happened. That's why that red flag was there. Yeah. Or I would just kind of look, just kind of have it in the back of my mind and just be a little bit more watchful. I have always encouraged people to do that. No matter how old you are, always get you an older couple. My imads have been married for 50 years. And so they were outside of my mom and dad, because my daddy nobody was going to be good enough for me. So that was just, it didn't matter. Right. And my mom just wanted me to be happy. So, so they would miss some things. But my daddy doll and Mama Betty, they were bulldogs when it came to me. They were they're Christian people outside of it. Well, we all go to church together. And so they've always been that other piece of filter that I needed in case I missed something. And so, John, you need some imads.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me asking, how much of your female intuition kind of played a part into it before you got your imads involved? Like, was it did you see any other red flags and just needed confirmation? Okay.
I did. I can think of one. Well, yeah. One, he was desperate. And so I don't do well with needy men. And so, but my soft heart, I couldn't figure out how to tell him that I didn't want a relationship with him just because he was, he was a good guy. He was nice. He just wasn't good for me. And so, my intuition, I knew that wasn't going to work. And then one other one, it was blaring, and I wasn't willing to adhere to the signs because of some things that he brought to the table.
We understand that. I think we've talked about that on the show once before.
Come on.
You better testify.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep you
good
from
guy.
Getting away.
Had all the stuff, and so maybe I can make this work.
These words are killing me.
Yeah. I've been there. I think I've been there before too when it comes to certain women. They had some I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be appropriate since we're not on Adult Play Therapy Uncensored. They had some talents.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Focusing. There was some talents there that kept me
but you know
in
what?
the game.
And I feel like I'm a pretty good catch too. I mean, I'm not boasting or not anything like that. Definitely everything I have is because of God. But at that time I was 40, younger than 40, and I had my house, I had a business. I've owned the business since I was 18 years old. So, wow. I had some things. So I'm looking for the dude who can bring at least half of what I have to the table. Yeah, I had a car, I've got a house, I've got this, and again, not bragging, not being braggadocious, being very humble, but I don't want just any kind of dude. You may be riding a bike, you may be, you may not have the best car, but what are your hopes, dreams, and intentions? And if you don't have that going for you, then, I can deal with the car situation. Now, I can't deal with you walking, but we can deal with you, having something. It may not be what I have, but if we can do this together, we can build. But, so when I saw someone who had a package of a deal, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's got these flaws over here, but I can make it work.
Yes.
Right.
I got my own stuff, so I don't need all of this, but that doesn't work either.
But that's a part of dating. That's a part of relationships. I feel like that's where, you kind of draw a line to what's fair and what's not fair. We also talk about expectations that are unreachable, Jerry and I. Like, you don't have to worry about us men when it comes to communication.
Not at all.
We know how to
good. I'm a communicator.
Right. But at the end of the day, you have to remember this. I don't want the perfect woman because there's no perfect woman. And I don't feel like women should always look for the perfect man. Right. I feel like love it comes in different forms and shape. The objective is you're supposed to find a man and the man's supposed to find a woman. God said we're supposed to find a woman that we can meet in the middle, and I'm supposed to help build you and you're supposed to help build me. So, I'm not gonna have everything when I meet you. You might have you may be a step up above me, but I just feel like I should be able to come in, and if our love meets, and if we're aligned the right way, then we can elevate each other and help each other build the right way. But when you say, man, I got this $500,000 house, and I drive a certain type of AMG Mercedes Benz, and this dude is in a Chevy, and maybe he's finishing his degree or something like that, I just kind of feel like, man, right there, I think you're missing your blessing. Because he may not have all the knowledge that you have, but he has the heart, he has the intent,
potential,
he has the ambition, he has everything else. All he needs is you to place him. I tell people all the time, when we're out looking for our mates, a man is looking for his rib. A lot of times we get the wrong size. It's small, it's too big, the wrong fit. And when we get it off in there, we wonder why it hurts so much.
Right.
It hurts because you're trying to squeeze the wrong rib in your body. Yep. That's not the woman you're supposed to be with. See, the woman you're supposed to be with is going to mirror you. See, you have the ambition, but she may already be ambitious. She may already have it going on, but that's where God done pointed you. See, the problem is you so intimidated by her because she's already
Come
up
on.
there. In reality, don't be intimidated by her. That's who you're supposed to be with. When you put
Right.
that real, you wonder, why does it fit so well? It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt because you're looking at where she's at. She's there because she was waiting on you to get there. So
Amen.
now you're rising with her. And it's the same with a woman. You wonder why you're up there and your man ain't up there, maybe because you're too busy with your head in the sky and your nose up in the air. You too high and mighty, too hard to look down and be like, wow, there he is right there.
There you go.
Wow.
You know?
And that's different. And that's different than what some women do is, I would rather have a piece of a man than no man at all.
Right. But that's not it.
That's different. Though. Yes, that's what I like what you're saying, because that's different from that.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah, so you got a man who's going somewhere. He just hadn't got there yet. See, a piece of a man is a guy who's still playing the PlayStation, sitting on the couch. Now he look good, 150 push-ups because he ain't going nowhere but to the gym and back home. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, he looks amazing. But what about the guy who looks good? He may have a little bit of a dad bod on him, but the thing is, he's working every day. You know what I'm saying? He's and clean, you know what I'm saying, mentally when it comes to his focus. You know, you got so many men focused on everything. You know, every time you look around, he's got some get rich money scheme. You know, that's not the guy. You know what I'm saying? Your guy is the one who's hustling, but he's saving his money the right way.
Consistent.
To the side, he's
consistency.
What he's doing, and he sees you, and he may be a little nervous because of the fact that you got your Louis and your Gucci on, and he's still rocking his Express or something. You know, those differences, the statuses is what makes us up as people. I feel, especially Black people, because we are such label individuals. We want to buy the labels, and we feel like if our man ain't rocking the same label as we rocking it, oh, he ain't. But you know what his bank look like? His bank account could be big as you don't know what. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've even learned I like to buy things, but I've slowed down when it comes to spending my money on certain things because I like the way those numbers look in the bank. At the end of the day, that's the thing that sustains me and my family.
Absolutely.
Ones and the twos and the threes, buying a new Gucci belt like I used to, gold chains and all that stuff. Man.
You know, and I am very thankful to my mom. She broke all of them. I have four brothers. I have 3 brothers and an adopted brother, which is the same to me. So I have 4 brothers, and she broke us from that years ago. We would want name brand things, and she refused to buy them. And her response was I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all may be too young for this. Braxton jeans.
Oh,
my brother wanted some Braxton jeans, and at that time they cost like $100, and that was a lot of money. That was 50 almost 50 years ago. And she said to us, if those people don't know you, those people don't even care to know you, if you want somebody's name written across your butt, you need to put your daddy's name on there, because that's the one who cares about you, loves you, and going to work for you every day. And that always stuck with me. And so even now, even if I have the money to buy those things, it just doesn't appeal to me. That rings out in my head all the time. Wow. You know, those people don't know you, they don't care about you. So wearing a name brand, and I have some, but you know, it's not that big to me. I think the couple of purses I do have, they came as gifts. I'm just not, I'm like you, John. I'd rather see that money in my bank account than to have it on my arm or on my feet. You know,
don't I get it messed up now. I do have a Gucci belt and I do have a Louis bag.
I got a Gucci bag. It's in the closet somewhere.
Every season, I'm still trying to buy one. You know, I got what I want and I'm good there. The rest
you
of the
do, and you can afford it. If you can afford it, you get what you want. But it's not so to the point where some people literally go broke and get in debt because I have to have this because of the image that I want to uphold. That's not even real. You know, it's just an image. It's just what you want people to think about you. But at the end of the day, you are broken on the inside. And that's why you have to have that to make you feel whole on the outside.
Preach.
So,
man. That is so true. And you know, nowadays
Preach.
that's the biggest drug. The
It is.
attention. The attention
Come
of it
on
all.
now.
You know,
And
we live for likes. We live for likes these days, you know.
That's it.
Facebook is it's a silent killer.
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, it really is. It's a silent killer. We're just like you said, we're living off of the likes and how many likes can I get? We're getting approval from people who don't even know us.
Mhm.
Amen.
They
That's
see
true.
a
That's
snapshot.
true.
Yeah,
My wife and I were
willing
talking about that
That's
the
right.
other day. You know, we was having a conversation and asked each other, you know, maybe 30 years ago. We were 30 years ago, and we had the opportunity to create social media. Will we do it? And it was an interesting question because I was like, well, you know, the intentions of it was to, you know, connect people and, you know, family members and long lost friends and stuff like that. But it's gone such a negative way. I'm not even sure if I would do it.
But you
I'm
know
gonna tell you
what?
the truth. I would. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie.
well,
30 years
I would
ago?
too.
Yeah,
I would too. Because
I had stuff was going on back then. Like right
Yes.
now, I'm mature. You know, like we're mature now. We see how toxic it is now. But
Right.
30 years ago, when I was popping, like I tell these kids all the time, I'm not mad at them for doing certain things on social media, getting the
Yeah.
likes, getting money, and then pulling out and, you know, trying to be positive. I mean, because
Yeah.
back in the day, I could have utilized. I was telling my kids, I said, you guys have lost your hustle. That's the reason why y'all don't get outside and play no more, because everything is right here in your hand. I
Right.
said, but if I had it back in the day, I'm telling you, with what I had going on or whatever, it would have helped me build myself a lot faster. You
Right.
know, we had
Okay.
to go door to door selling CDs out the trunk when we were doing music back then.
right,
You know?
right.
I remember I was throwing shows in college or whatever, and I, you know, like doing parties, house parties, and different parties.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a young lady saying, "Hey, could you you in the media department at the University of Texas in Arlington?" I'm like, "Yo, could you go out here and print like 100 of these right here, and then we'll cut them up and we'll put them on cars and pass
Yeah.
to the fellas." Like nowadays, you have to put a post up. Everybody will show up.
That's
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
Thousands of
That's it.
people all at one time. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying,
No, you're fine.
just being honest,
Yes.
in my heart. To this day, I'm saying, man, if I was 30 years younger, I would be on and popping. I was still in high school. I was an All-American athlete. Do you not
Right.
know I could have utilized that? I had scholarships, but I could have probably got scholarships everywhere. You know,
Right.
or done more than what I'm doing now, you know, or did then at that age, you know?
Well, and you
Yeah.
go back to what Jerry said, the person who created it, the intent. So we've taken everything, people, we humans, we've taken most things and made it into something that it really wasn't intended to be. I mean,
That's true.
and you can
Yeah.
take everything. You can take water and drink too much water and it'll kill you.
You'll
So
drown.
anything, if you do too much of it. So I think if we had the knowledge then of what we have now, we
Yeah.
could still create it and put some limits on it so that it wouldn't be so detrimental to, you know, to kids. We can do like the Chinese. I talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago. There are several different versions to Facebook.
There is.
Mm.
Yes.
United States
saw that
only
too?
takes the uncensored one.
Right.
Freedom of speech.
Asia has the censored one. So their
Yes.
kids can only be on Facebook for 40 minutes a day.
Yes.
And the
Wow.
only thing that is aired on their Facebook is educational programs, educational and academic programs. That's it. And they can only do it for 40 minutes a day. After 40 minutes, it automatically shuts off. We take it to a whole different level.
Wake up with it, go to sleep with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you wonder why we're so lost and our society is with so much chaos. You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
over there they have less chaos. You know, we wonder why we're having police shootings and things like that. And I was telling somebody, I said, over there across seas, they don't carry guns. They're not allowed to, you know, unless there's something violent that just happens and they have to go put in guns. You know, we're so different. We're so different over here than in any other country, you know.
are.
So yeah, we have
And
to start
you-
being careful. Rome
and
was
you would
killed by
think-
Rome.
Yeah, but you would think that since they're doing it right, and since they're having less problems and more academic success and things like that, wouldn't we go and ask them what they're doing so that we can
No.
mimic that?
Well,
Absolutely
one thing-
not.
Well, one
It makes
thing
money.
Well, one thing you're not about to do with America is try to take away any of her freedoms.
Right.
You're not going to take away her. You're not going to take away them guns.
That's
You're not
right.
going to take away their freedom of speech, unless it's us. But it's you don't play like that with the westernized world.
But you have to also look at it like this too. It creates wealth. See, people fail to realize everything we create wealth. Over there, by them limiting that. I mean, they got money over there. Don't get me wrong, because they produce majority of the stuff that we have out here in America.
Yeah,
very true. We get famous off of chaos.
Yes.
We want them to come in because they feel like it's the freedom. It's the land of the free.
Yep.
No, it's the land of the foolishness. Chaos creates finance over here. That's why they got free health care and we don't, because death is money. Saying your kids school is money. Social media is money because we were built off of the news anchors and them. Let's put something out there. Killing blacks and putting blacks in prison is everything creates wealth when it comes to the United States of America. No, we don't want we don't want our kids smart because we don't want. There's too many rich people out here already. We need.
Well, the thing is, a lot of our kids don't aspire to. I said a lot of our kids don't aspire to be the doctors, lawyers, and engineers like they used to be. I mean, now they want to be influencers.
That's it.
Well, and that's exactly what statistics says.
Yeah. They're willing to risk their integrity. You know what I'm saying? Just to get the snap. To get the TikTok. And that's the bad thing. My kids, we're not about that. We're not going to degrade ourselves for a like. And I think in my journey, integrity. I don't want to degrade myself. I don't want you to look at me as per se the common black man. No, I'm gonna take care of my kids. I'm gonna respect my women. I'm gonna save my money. I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna put things out there. I'm gonna try to produce. I'm gonna try to love. I'm gonna put God first. I'm gonna do everything that you don't expect me to do. Because I don't want to be your norm.
Yeah, and another thing, like you mentioned, a good point you made is about the wealth that they have overseas that we don't necessarily have. And another form of that wealth is the intellectual wealth. It's a lot of things that are passed down through generations that we just don't. Even if you look at the Jewish community, it's like, well, my dad was a doctor, so his dad was a doctor, so I guess I'm going to be a doctor. And from a kid, they raised them up. Okay, no, you're not going to be a rapper. You're going to be a doctor, like your forefathers. Yeah, and we're gonna keep this society going on. So we don't have that.
Yeah, in China, the number one, when we were talking about or looking at this same research that they were talking about, the TikTok and Facebook, the number one aspired job or career in Asia was an astronaut. And just like you said, the number one aspired job or career in the United States is a social media influencer.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
because of what we're putting in front of our children. Yeah, it's what we're putting in front of them. That's what the world says is the thing to do right now. So, so it goes back to us. What kind of parent are we? Are we, in fact, Pastor Evans, my pastor was preaching today. He said, do you want, do we want societal thinking or do we want biblical thoughts? Do we want to change that? I mean, do we really want to say that what society has put in front of us is the right thing? Yes, there's some right things about it, but everything about it is not right. And that's Satan's job, is to put a little bit of poison into a good thing, because that little bit is going to kill you. So we have to be careful and monitor those things, and look at everything that our child is looking at on Facebook and on social media and things like that, so that we can intervene in those areas. So.
Good point.
Wow.
Good point.
I agree.
Guys, this has been good. This has been so good. We have gone past our little 9 o'clock time, and that is
wow.
Right.
That flew by.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So I do have an announcement to the all the individuals who are listening tonight. So Thursdays, and I want you all to talk about what happens on Thursday nights and what I will be a part of on this coming Thursday. And hopefully you guys will keep me on. But
Of course.
just let's talk about Thursday and what happens on Thursday night and where, because I plan on tying all of the table talk with Dr. Allen in with you guys on Thursdays.
Sounds good. Jerry, you want to do this one?
Sure. So on Thursdays, we meet up currently at the Cedar Hill location at Hooters in Cedar Hill. We meet there. We have our discussions. We know it's lights, camera, action. At 7:00, we shoot our podcast. We talk about various topics, from the holiest to the other way. We get into a little bit of politics. We get into a little bit of emotional topics. Everything, the whole gambit. We explore everything, and we're gonna have Dr. Allen on this week, and we're looking forward to that. And so that's what we do on Thursdays.
And remember that our show is a pre-recorded show, so we record, edit, and we post, and it'll be running actually week after next. So this week coming, we record and it's posted the following Monday, 12:00 a.m. You should be able to go to the YouTube, Adult Play Therapy Uncensored, and view it. And of course, Dr. Allen will be tagged on this, so you can go and find it on her page as well.
Absolutely. So now individuals are able to come out and participate live. Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So how do they do that? Do they need any special admission or anything, or they just come and sit and eat and just listen in?
Come show up, please. Just come show up.
Is it Q&A? Do we have Q&A or anything like that where audience participates?
Well, no, not this time. What we do is a J&J show. It's something that I did in college, the Jack and Jill show, but we Harry and John show now. So the J&J, what we do is we have a segment where we actually have an audience that's going to be involved, and we're going to ask you to come back so that we can shoot the segment. But that'll be the time where they can get involved, they can ask questions, and they can also voice their opinions as well.
Wonderful. I love it. Well, we have far spent our time together, but it has been an absolute pleasure and honor for me to be in the presence of J&J. I look forward to this Thursday, spending that time with you guys and just having a great time with great conversation and and just doing what you guys do. You guys are awesome. You're amazing.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. And it's good that you're taking the time out of your busy schedule to do stuff like this. So it's much appreciated, and you got a fan, you got a subscriber, you got all this stuff. So
well, thank you. I certainly appreciate. Yeah,
I'm totally for it. I think I love anyone who's out educating. It's a blessing that you're out educating. And I feel like you touch down on topics that are very important. And I love the fact that you're not just your personal, but the career, the educational background, can match in the topic. So, people know that you see this on a regular basis. Being Dr. Allen, that's a big plus.
Bless you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, guys, I again thank you for being on, and thank those of you who are watching. I appreciate you for logging in. You have been a blessing. I appreciate you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you, and we'll see you here. Actually, we'll see you Thursday, and then we'll see you back here Sunday, 8:00, and we will have candidate August Doyle, who will be talking to us about the importance of voting in this coming election in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.